Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 7, The Afterparty.
Listen here, shout out to y'all who don't get the Afterparty. We here for y'all, specifically for y'all, actually. Thank y'all for subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting, all the above. We really do appreciate y'all. We are so close to 4,000 subscribers. When we started this year, we was only at like 670 subscribers. And now we're at the end of the year and we almost at 4,000. Can y'all help us? Will y'all help us? Blair, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
So we start with Madison, Juan, and a lady named Simone Corbett, who is on Entertainment Tonight.
Yes, shout out.
The first clip we see is Madison coming home from her night out.
Mm-hmm.
Keisha asks, how are you going to leave your husband the first night?
Yeah.
Madison says that the honeymoon was actually a lot for her. She ended up crying every day, but she did put on a brave face.
Okay.
She apologized to him, saying that, she should have been there the first night, so they did have a in-depth conversation about that.
Yeah.
Simone was surprised because it seemed like they were on a good page, so it was odd to see her not decide to come home.
I don't know if Simone watched the show.
As far as Juan, he said that all he would really need is communication. He doesn't really get hung up on stuff like that. For the do-over, Madison does say that she would have spent the first night with Alan.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about the after party is that a lot of people come on and they put on their best PR face,
Yes.
right? Now she's on here talking about something like, yeah, I was crying so much and I would put on a brave face and doing all this stuff. And like, if I had a do-over, I definitely would have spent the first night. You knew in the moment how important that first night was. Like, come on now. Like, look, I called you a lot of things, Madison, but one thing I did not call you was dumb. I did not call you stupid. If you ask Blair, I believe adults are very intentional with their action and their words. So her not spending the night, and here's the thing about it. She didn't even come home late. Coming home late would have been the next best option. But I can't bring another guy to like my husband's apartment and things like that. So I'm going to go to my apartment where he don't know where it's at, and he just got to go off my words. Madison, I don't believe you. I don't care about these tears that you said you cried that we did not see. It don't mean anything.
Right.
You know?
Couldn't say it any better.
Mm-hmm.
Juan has been enjoying the experience, but he hasn't found that he needed any space away from Carla.
Mm-hmm.
We see the clip of Carla showing her storage unit.
Craziness.
Juan is still trying to get to know her, but he was surprised by the storage unit.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't make sense for her to show that if she was trying to showcase any type of stability.
Mm-hmm.
Simone says that he's in his mid-30s and, any thoughts about Juan and Carla first?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her having a storage unit. Like that, that's kind of wild to me. You get what I'm saying? Like I have to go. Only thing I know for a fact is that you have your stuff in storage. Yeah. And now you're telling me to believe what you're saying. I don't want to believe what you're saying because I wasn't there. Yeah. So you over here saying that really, the lease was given out and I was coming on this experience. So I'm like, what's the point? For all I know, you could have been couch surfing. For all I know. But only thing I know for a fact is that you got stuff in your storage. I'm completely befuddled. You get what I'm saying?
And I think that plays into more of Carla talking about wanting to be cared for, being a stay-at-home mom and all that type of stuff. It does kind of seem like she's just trying to find a way to work her way into living with Juan and making this relationship work to where he kind of has to take on the brunt of all the responsibility because instead of re-upping her lease or getting another place just in case it didn't work out, she's putting herself in a position to be under his providing.
Yeah, his thumb and all that stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Well, they talk about David, and Simone says that he is in his mid-30s and choosing the convenience of staying at his parents' home. Carla was ready for something new in her marriage, so she's talking about kind of the difference in the fact that David was staying at home and Carla was, in a way, preparing for marriage, according to Simone.
Yeah.
Madison talks about how in this Hispanic culture, per Carla's commentary, it's normal for them, and he is also contributing to his family financially.
Stop. I want to put that to rest, right? I have a couple of friends who live with their parents and things of that nature, right? And I'm going to say this as someone who knows this for a fact. They do not need your money to provide for their house. No, the reason why you even give money is to feel at least a little bit like an adult. But if you did not live there, they're not losing the house. So this whole thing of he's contributing financially, he's not contributing to them. He's not contributing to a roof over their head. So, like, I understand in Hispanic culture, even in some Indian cultures and things like that, a lot of them live together. They build their house bigger and things like that. So when the parents get old, the children who was living there now take care of the parents. And it's kind of like we look out for each other. But David didn't sell it like that. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like that. I think he's just saying that to make himself feel like he's an adult and I contribute to this household that's not mine. You don't. You get what I'm saying?
So we see the clip of Madison and Alan meeting with the experts and changing for the benefit of each other.
Okay.
Keisha asks, have you found qualities that you found attractive in each other? Madison enjoys conversations with him. He's a very calm person. Simone is noticing that Alan is doing the things that Madison is requesting.
Yeah.
For Juan, his intimacy with Carla, he tries to make her breakfast and lunch and clean up, and he is being affectionate in that way.
Yeah.
But we see the clip of Juan talking about pulling back from affection. He shares that they have a notebook about their expectations, about what they like, and they hold each other accountable through that document.
I can respect that, but when it comes to Madison, she did not list anything. Like, he's calm and things like that.
Yeah, she don't like him.
No, like, so when I insult him, he's calm about it. When I criticize him, he's very cool about it. You get what I'm saying? He lets me have my way. In the preview, I know y'all see the preview, she said, I would have a spa day with my girls, so you gotta leave. What?
Yeah.
What? like that's crazy. Like, why don't you go back to that apartment that you was hanging out, your apartment where you was there for your friends, but now I gotta leave? And guess what Alan's gonna say? Okay, come on, Loopy, or like whatever the dog name is. You get what I'm saying? So it just is what it is.
Yeah, when it comes to Juan and this whole thing of him holding back physical affection, I'm starting to find that weird, because you're talking about how you're doing all these acts of service and writing down things in a journal together. Why you can't kiss the girl? Why you can't hold her hand? Why you can't cuddle up with her? Like, why is there such a huge barrier? I understand that you don't want to get intimate and start to feel like that's going to ruin your discernment, but I'm starting to think, is the physicality as a whole a way for you to just not really be connected in the experiment to where you could get the fun of the experiment without the actual heavy emotions? So I'm wondering if Juan is doing that on purpose for those reasons.
No, matter of fact, you just brought something back to my memory, right? No guy ever have said, oh, I want to put the intimacy on the back burner because other times it has messed me up. Other times you wasn't married.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of a personal experience. Before I met Blair, I was celibate for a year. Right. The reason why I took a vow of celibacy is because my father got real sick, and I was like, I don't need no distractions and things like that, because his health was declining fast. Right. Yeah. When I met Blair and things like that, guess what? That was the end of my celibacy, because I saw a baddie. You get what I'm saying? I liked her. I wanted her. You get what I'm saying? So, like, it just shows that when you really into somebody and when it's consensual, I'm not over here speaking of anything else, right? Listen here, all that went out the window. All only thing I said was, please don't put me against my daddy.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because I like you. I want you. I'm going to get on you. Okay. You get what I'm saying?
So Juan put the brakes on after honeymoon because of all the pressure of reality hitting him at this point.
Yeah.
He's still attracted to Carla, but he can't tell if they'll be able to create a solid foundation.
Yeah.
And I think that in a way he is preventing that foundation from being built. Part of it being his lack of mindfulness when it comes to Carla. Yeah, he just wants to continue living his life, and Carla's there when the cameras are there.
You're right, Blair.
They ask about have they been having fun off camera, and everyone gets together as a group. They have fun, and even Juan and Carla, they listen to music, and that's fun for them. Carla, we see her seeing his apartment and her asking about introducing her items into his home. Keisha asks, what are you going to do when it's time to move in? And Juan is fine with getting rid of a couple of his things, but he likes napping in his hammock. He sees that he looks confused, but he can try to make some room for her. He thinks that he probably is easy to live with. They talk about, why should spouses talk about life after decision day? And Simone mentions that, it's important to continue to remain on the same page, that you're aware of and working on the same goal.
I do believe one thing I say, this is outside of the show, but when it comes to the same goal, right? Some of my friends ask me, hey, Chris, what is some advice you have about marriage? And I say, I just got married. I don't know. Just wake up and do it. You get what I'm saying? But one thing I will say that I've heard somebody say, I can't even say it's mine. I forgot who I heard it from. But they say, hey, do something hard together, right? Because many times than not, for one, that keeps you from making an enemy of your partner. Because if you're doing something hard together, I'm going to need you, right? To do this channel, I'm going to need Blair, right? Even if you see Blair sitting next to me, or even if you don't see her sitting next to me, she is still an equal contributor to the show. Even if I take up the talking time, she is still an equal contributor to the show. You get what I'm saying? So my whole point is, I don't see, if you watch the review that that we just did hours ago, Blair says something to where he's self-centered, right? He don't want to do nothing together. Everything that he does, in the sense of we dance and we listen to music together, those are things that he was doing by himself, right? So like, there's nothing new that he's doing to tackle or to bring togetherness to where they can make a common enemy of like something. You gotta make a common enemy of something for y'all not to be enemies towards each other. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? The common enemy sometimes it's y'all. You get what I'm saying? Like, hey, subscribe, comment, like, share the video. You get what I'm saying? But it just shows more what Blair was saying in the last episode and the things of that nature of he is self-centered and he's not really mindfulness of Carla or of wanting to be part of this marriage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what he's saying about making room for her is just lip service.
Yeah, it's not real.
He doesn't want to get rid of his hammock. Like, why is that a hill you want to die on? Like, seriously, the apartment is only so big. Get rid of the hammock.
I'm about to say, we should add more things here.
Exactly.
And that's why the couch is where it is. That's why the TV is where it is, because there's a big hammock that taking up the whole side of the wall.
Exactly. And then she has to figure out where to stick her stuff in behind and around that big thing. I'm just like, it's all lip service.
Yeah.
So Madison and Alan discuss religion. Madison, of course, wants her kids to be open about the decision of what religion they want to follow. Okay. Juan and Carla have spoken about spirituality, but they're spiritual in their own ways. You know, Carla's more into the sage and the manifestation. Yeah. And they did discuss how they want to have kids. He would like to start having children before 40.
Okay. Yeah. I have nothing to add to that. I think everything Juan say is lip service to Blair Point.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got Thomas, Michelle, and Simone. Mm-hmm. Camille was missing the swag and smoothness from Thomas. Thomas was hurt by the comment, but he is going to listen and move forward. Yeah. He talks about how he has dated different types of women, and Camille is a woman that he would have dated in the past. Michelle has dated all types. She's more attracted to personality and someone who is confident. Yeah. Michelle, I don't know what to believe when it comes to you, because you asked specifically for a light-skinned black dude. Yeah. But you said that you're down for all types, so you just want a confident guy. I think that's probably why it's so hard for Michelle to find someone on her own, let alone an expert, because I don't think she knows what she wants. When she gets a person, she is so critical of them. I just don't see it working out for her unless she stops being an a-hole.
Well, number one, facts. Yeah. Number two, I find it interesting that they paired these two together for the after party, because I'm like, truth be told, Michelle wanted a Thomas, right? Because when it comes to a light-skinned black dude, that's very specific, right?
But I honestly feel like Thomas doesn't even fit into the light-skinned black dude type that she would like.
I don't know, because to her, I think she only said that for aesthetics. Oh, okay. I don't think she said that for culture. I think she's honestly, if we go be frank, I think she said it like, I don't want my babies too white. Oh, okay. I don't think it have nothing to do with the guy, his culture. It just like aesthetically, I want my babies and children to look like this, right? When it comes to Thomas saying like what he heard and things like that, scroll back up about what Thomas talking about. He dated all types of women and stuff like that. Yeah, and he said that the last person he dated was kind of like Camille when it came to like complexion and things like that. I find it very discouraging in a way that now Camille has been bringing up like how cultureless he is, that now in a way it felt like he's kind of not, now he got to defend himself. Now he's like, look, I like all types of women. Like I date like light-skinned women, things like that. And Keisha even said, hey, do you got love for like the dark-skinned women? And that's what you're like, yeah, I date all types of women. Like, well, how am I on stand for like not liking like black women? But he goes into detail later on in the show and things like that.
So we see the clip of Michelle afraid of the unknown, like it being in control. She has been overwhelmed by the experience and had a hard time of letting go of her independence. Yeah. Her need to control has definitely gotten in her way before. And Keisha asks, how can you find the love you deserve if you don't let your guard down? Michelle acknowledges that that's the issue for her that she is working through.
I want to attack Keisha just a little bit, and I love Keisha.
Before that, I'm just going to wrap up that segment. Simone says you learn to own your independence when you're single for a long time. She actually felt compassion for Michelle because it is a huge adjustment to allow someone in. And Michelle talks about how she and David coexist well when the cameras aren't around.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Because we heard it from David's mouth that y'all don't speak when the cameras is not around. Y'all be in different rooms. Hell, we saw it before the experts came in there where he was sitting on the couch and he was all the way on the island. And that's when he was like, I feel like I'm waiting in the principal office. Y'all wasn't talking. Y'all wasn't even in the same chair.
But the thing is, her idea of coexisting, because she even gave an example. He's getting ready for work. I'm getting ready for work.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just two ships passing.
Yeah.
And she says it's fine.
No, it's not. I want to just attack Keisha just a little bit, just a little pow. I feel like this was in this episode, or at least in this segment of the show, was like a, Michelle, see, you have to try. You have to put your guard down. I do believe in women's intuition. I really do believe that's a real thing. And Michelle is being proven right about what she felt in her gut about this man living with his parents, right? And it's probably the aura he gave off. Maybe it's the goofiness of his ponytail being to the side. It just something about him that she felt inside her gut that this is not what I wanted and this is not what it is, right? And I understand with the bombardedness with the whole cigarettes and the living with the parents, but it just felt like he just kept saying things. I got a tattoo of this woman's name on my chest. Maybe we can go together. And I want to be fair. Not to Michelle, but just to be fair, that, hey, when I don't like somebody, I can't put my guard down. Because every time that I see David, he gave me a reason to put my guard up. Now he told me he got a woman's name tattooed on his chest and things like that. Yes, you could say that he's a nice guy, but women know, and especially a lot of black women know, just because you're nice doesn't mean I want to date you or I'm attracted to you. So, like, don't use David's niceness as a reason why Michelle should be into David. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna give Michelle Bell on that. You get what I'm saying? I think that we should use David's niceness of why Michelle should be nice to David. You get what I'm saying? But not be into David. That's two different things. There's no reason for her to be an a-hole to David. Yeah. But there's a lot of reasons for her not to be into David, though.
Right. So we see the clip of Michelle going through potential lists of activities for them to do.
Yeah.
Things clicked for her after the expert meeting. Some of their best times was when they were doing dates and activities.
Yeah.
So she did this because she thought it would be fun to do and it would be a fun experience to do together. Mm-hmm. Michelle is a bad texter, but she did, she basically did intend and follow through on texting him that she was not going to be at the house instead of just allowing assumptions and things to run wild.
Okay.
Keisha says it does seem that you create stories of worst case scenarios, but when you care for somebody, they do want to check in on you to see whether or not you're okay.
Okay.
Michelle again says that she's trying.
No, it's not worst case scenario. I'm not creating worst case scenarios, Keisha. Did you see the apartment? I'm trusting my intuition about this guy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Camille talks to her sister about the differences in their culture. Thomas says that it's a difficult conversation because he is offended by it.
Thank you.
Black people are American culture and we are all different. There is no one way to be a black man. He is who he is. He treats people well, and anyone who meets him is going to see that he's a black man.
Yeah.
Simone was sad to see Camille discuss this in a negative way, and there's a lot that they could learn from each other.
Yeah, listen here, man. Camille is dusty. It's a state of being, man. And I like the fact that, Thomas, stand up for yourself, brother. You get what I'm saying? First, he was hurt, and now he's offended, which means he's getting tired of hearing this, right? I've been hearing this since I was a kid. I was adopted. I did not choose to be adopted. I did not choose to be left. But guess what? Whoever came to pick me up, white or black family, whatever, I'm happy that they chose me. Yeah. I'm happy they put me in the school that they put me in. I'm happy to still be connected to my twin brother. I'm happy for the life I have. And you go come over here and talk about, oh, good, you got Jordans?
Yeah.
Girl, get up out my face. Stop this. That's why I'm I like the fact that he used that word specifically. I'm offended. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Because guess what? Not one time did anybody criticize Camille's blackness, because it comes in all shapes, all forms, all shades, and things of that nature. I just feel like if the shoe was on the other foot, if a male was doing this to a female, it would land differently. So that's why I'm like, let's just keep the same metric of measuring of like, this is wrong. You know what I'm saying? We should not do that to each other.
I think Thomas is handling this well. I would just like for him to say that to Camille.
Yeah, don't say it to Keisha.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, like, say it to Camille because she needs to understand that the way that you're thinking is off. Mm-hmm. I see that you want this particular type of guy, but I'm a black man just like any other black man, and this is the type of black man I am.
Yeah.
And I think that he needs just kind of to stand a little, like, 10 toes down on the fact of who he is in front of her so she can kind of, like, break that way of thinking.
Yeah.
You know? So we see David's place.
Yeah. or rather, his mama place.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Michelle does not feel reassured after seeing his place.
Of course not.
And Thomas says that when guys are single, they live differently. It's just a different mindset.
Yeah.
Michelle says that she needs to get out of her own way. She has to let him in a little bit. The positive is that she saw how close he was with his family through the pictures, and that was positive.
Michelle just tried to find something. She basically said, I saw your baby pictures around.
Yeah.
It was this scene right here, or this segment right here. Is this the end?
That's the end. Afterparty.
Yeah. It was this scene right here to where I was like, oh, they are giving Michelle a bad edit on purpose. Because when we saw the apartment, right, Keisha went to Thomas after seeing the apartment. Keisha did not give her opinion. Simone did not give her opinion and nothing like that. She said, Thomas, help David of how this could be a good thing. And that's when Thomas was like, well, you know, when it comes to a guy is very basic, and how a guy lives single is very different than how a guy live in a relationship. And that's when Keisha was like, yeah, my husband said the same thing. No, talk about how he lives in his mama house in the basement and things like that. And it was in that moment I was like, you know what? I don't want to defend Michelle, but I want to defend the truth. And the truth is he lives in his mama basement. Let's talk about how Michelle is being proven right in front of our very eyes.
Yeah, I think that Michelle is being nice about it. And I feel like now is not the time to be nice.
Yeah. That's funny, right? The time to be nice
was when you first met the man.
Exactly. But now when it's time to actually be like real, she's choosing to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but the thing is, what's she going to do? I want to say he knows his living situation, but the way he talks about it, I don't think he knows his living situation.
He don't.
So Michelle gave him the little bit of shade that he needed about, so you got strangers coming out here who will do laundry.
Because he tried to.
You know, because it's just like, no, you're not making any type of sense.
Yeah.
So I think that Michelle, now it's time to get a little real.
Yeah, now it's time to take the gloves off.
Get a little real now. Yeah.
No, it's funny. David tried to say, so you don't see, like, it's not... You see how it's no different of if I had strangers living upstairs and it's like a studio apartment. No, it is a different because it's not strangers living upstairs.
Yeah.
And that's what she was like. So random people just come down and wash their clothes in your apartment. I was like, Michelle about to crash out, man. Anything else, Blair?
That's all I got.
Listen, we really appreciate y'all watching. We really appreciate y'all watching the after party with us. Subscribe, like, share, comment. We are also doing the later daters, right? Make sure y'all turn on that notification bell because after I release this episode, I don't know when I'm going to release the other ones. It's probably going to be released while y'all sleep. So when y'all wake up first thing in the morning, y'all see it, y'all have it. But once I get done editing that, it is off of me. I got to get it up off of me. You feel what I'm saying? Anything else?
That's it.
Y'all be good.
Bye.